I'm Regina McCann-Hess, president of Forge Wealth Management, and welcome to our Women in Wealth series. Today, we're going to talk about family wealth management, and in particular, we're going to talk about tips for a successful transition between generations. Now, passing on wealth is not just about getting financial assets to future generations. It's also about passing on what you think is important and avoiding damage to your children's relationships with each other. Unfortunately, research shows that for many families, the process goes awry. Avoid this unfortunate inheritance situation. It's not an uncommon scenario. So here's a scenario. The parents pass away and leave the family home to children, Joe, Bill, and Marie. Joe wants to keep the house and live in it to preserve the homestead for generations. Bill's fine with that as long as Joe can pay out Bill's share. Marie insists they sell the home because the market's hot and there's a good profit to be made. And so the fighting begins. Certainly, no family likes to think that the parents' legacy will turn into a tussle over assets, yet it happens all too often. Here are some steps you can take to try to avoid common and costly mistakes while also increasing the likelihood that your estate transfers successfully and lasts through another generation. Let's understand why most transfers fail. While wealth transfers fail for many reasons, the top explanation is simple. It's lack of communication. Most parents are uncomfortable discussing money with their children. Perhaps we fear such talks will reveal children's greed, or that by talking about inheritance, the kids will be less motivated to strive in life. Maybe parents believe such a discussion would be all about trusts, tax strategies, and insurance policies. Now, while your financial advisor might use these tools to achieve your wealth transfer goals, the real purpose of talking with your heirs ahead of time is to express the impact you hope the assets will have on your family and your community, both now and after you're gone. Pointed communication of what you would like to accomplish with the assets can help legacies endure for generations. So now let's talk about planning to avoid mistakes. Before you talk with your family members about your legacy, it's crucial to fully consider all of your potential beneficiaries. Map out and identify your immediate and extended family members so that you will have a clear picture of whom you and your financial advisor may want to plan for. Perhaps you have a child who requires custodial care when you're gone, or you may have elderly parents who you hope to support financially if you predecease them. Before you talk with your heirs, take time to document specific details, including names, addresses, and contact numbers. And then use the map as a basis for a planning conversation with your attorney, your tax professional, your financial advisor as well. You want to shape the conversation appropriately. A thorough discussion of family wealth may be confusing to underage heirs. Minor children should probably be kept on a need-to-know basis and given, increments of information as they mature. Older heirs, however, they may benefit from knowing what they will inherit so that they can make plans for future assets that fit with their life choices and plans. This is especially true when passing on the family business. Such a legacy may affect an heir's decision about college or other opportunities that could enhance the business's health. On the other hand, if an heir doesn't want the business, it's best to know that when the heir is a young adult so you can make alternative succession plans. Take your time. The family wealth conversation should not be a one-time event. Legacies can be complicated, so can the reactions of family members as they review inheritance plans. There's no reason why everything needs to be discussed in one meeting around the kitchen table. If, for example, you choose one child to be your executor, disclose this one-on-one so the conversation can take place undistracted by the reaction of other family members. Many investment professionals may recommend you choose a disposition officer outside of the family to be the executor. And this way, siblings can communicate with an outside party as an executor rather than being inclined to hound or badger an executor who is a relation. And yes, surprisingly, that does happen. And that's sarcasm because you know what's going to happen. Think about your kids. I can see my kids going at it for stupid stuff. So I definitely will probably take that advice myself. Okay, so you will also want to talk about the dispensation of family heirlooms. Asking each child privately if he or she has an interest in grandma's jewelry or your valuable artwork may be easier than an open discussion when the entire family is gathered around for the holidays. And obviously notate what they're interested in. You may be surprised something that you thought that they would all fight over may not want. So definitely have the conversations privately, and that way you can make your list. This is a great time to share your values. Sometimes legacies involve arrangements outside the family boundaries. Maybe you'd like to leave a portion of your stock holdings to a favorite charity, or perhaps you've decided the summer home should be bequeathed to a nonprofit organization for housing or educational facilities. Let your children know the reasons behind the division of your estate so they won't feel confused or resentful when your legacy transfers to others. The why of your estate is as important as the what if you hope to minimize conflict when you're gone. This can also be a time for your heirs to make their own wishes and feelings known so that they too can share their values with the whole family. Introduce your financial advisor. If possible, this should happen well before your children inherit your estate. If one child is your executor, invite that child to your annual review with your financial advisor so they can begin to discuss financial matters openly. If another child is just starting out on a career, arrange a meeting with your financial advisor to explore saving strategies for long-term goals. He or she can educate your heirs on general money management, help build trust and communication concerning family wealth, and work with your family to ensure your legacy endures. Communicate early and often. Remember, we said one of the biggest reasons why estate transfers fail is lack of communication. So by keeping loved ones engaged in inheritance planning process, you can increase the opportunity to transfer your wealth successfully. For example, when you open an account for an heir and want him to be aware of it, include that person in the meeting with your financial advisor or investment professional to talk about what you're doing and why. The same goes for any gift you might make to a savings account or a retirement or a college financing investment vehicle. Ensure that your loved ones have easy access to the names and numbers of all your legal, tax, insurance, employer, and financial contacts. By engaging and educating heirs along the way, you can help them avoid common and costly mistakes later on while protecting against the negative impact that surprise and a lack of preparedness may have on your estate. Let's also aim to achieve wealth transfer success. While one of the greatest challenges in passing on wealth is the high frequency of transfer failure, most inheritance transitions derails for reasons you can potentially control. Not having a plan, not communicating your plan, and failing to prepare your heirs top the list of mistakes many people make and you can avoid. You can leave a lasting legacy. Together with your financial advisor, make sure you understand the common mistakes. Develop a plan for those you want and need to provide for, and make sure everyone knows your wishes and intentions before the time comes. If you express what you'd like to see your heirs accomplish with the inheritance, you improve the odds that those assets will be there for your family for generations. We have a couple of key points that we're going to talk about next. And really, they're the call to action for you to take action after you listen to this podcast or watch the video. 1, you want to develop a family financial map. 2, you want to communicate early and often. And you want to be clear about your expectations and values. And lastly, you want to introduce your heirs to your financial advisor and whoever else is helping you with your estate plan, be it your estate planning attorney, your accountant, all those people who are key to helping you, you want to introduce your heirs to them so that that transition is a little bit more smooth for them. I want to thank you for listening. Again, I'm Regina McCann Hess, president of Forge Wealth Management. You can find our website at forgewealth.com. And we are on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at Forge Wealth, and on LinkedIn, Regina McCann Hess. Have a great day.